don't think you can learn how to start coding? Perhaps you think it requires a computer science degree or that your lack of skills in math might hold you back. Fortunately, there's nothing holding you back from learning how to code. These are the topics we are going to cover in this tutorial. 1. What are some of the basics you need to know to start programming? 2. What are some of the benefits of programming? 3. What are some of the challenges of programming? 4. What are some of the steps you need to take to start programming? 5. What are some of the resources you can use to start programming? 6. How can you overcome the challenges of programming? Coding is one of the most valuable skills you can build. If you're searching for how to learn to code, it might be because you want to advance your career. Maybe you're hoping to build software or games for your friends or get a better grip on the tech space. Either way, learning the language of computers can be a significant asset to your professional and personal development. Coding is the process of using programming languages to give instructions to a computer. These instructions power the daily websites, software, and applications people use. What are some of the basics you need to know to start programming? Assuming you want to start coding from scratch, here are some basics you need to know. 1. Choose a coding language. There are many to choose from, but some popular ones include Python, Java, and C++. 2. Install a code editor. This is where you will actually write your code. Some popular code editors include Sublime Text and Atom. 3. Choose a development environment. This is where you will test and run your code. Some popular development environments include Visual Studio and Eclipse. 4. Learn the basics of your chosen coding language. This includes things like variables, data types, loops, and functions. 5. Start coding. Write some small programs to get a feel for the language and the development environment. That's just a brief overview of some of the basics you need to know to start coding. Of course, there is much more to learn, but these basics will get you started. What are some of the benefits of programming? There are many benefits of programming that make it a great activity for people of all ages. Not only does it teach you how to think analytically and solve problems, but it can also be a great way to express your creativity. One of the best things about programming is that it can be used to create anything you can imagine. Whether you want to build a simple website or a complex computer game, programming gives you the power to make it happen. Another great benefit of programming is that it can help you develop important life skills. For example, programming can improve your problem-solving and critical thinking skills. It can also help you learn how to better communicate and work with others. Overall, programming is a great way to learn new things, express your creativity, and develop important life skills. If you're looking for a challenging and rewarding activity, programming is a great option. What are some of the challenges of programming? Programming can be a very rewarding experience, but it can also be quite challenging at times. Here are some of the challenges that you may encounter as a programmer. 1. Learning all the different programming languages. There are literally hundreds of programming languages out there, and new ones are created all the time. As a programmer, you will need to learn at least a few of the most popular languages in order to be successful. 2. Staying up to date with new technologies. The world of technology is always changing, and as a programmer, you will need to keep up with the latest trends in order to be able to create the best software possible. This can be a challenge, as new technologies are constantly being created and updated. 3. Debugging your code. No matter how good you are at programming, there will always be times when your code will have errors in it. Debugging your code can be very time-consuming and sometimes boring. What are some of the steps you need to take to start programming? Assuming you want to start learning programming. 1. Choose the language you want to learn. This is probably the most important step, as different languages are used for different purposes. Some languages are better suited for more complex applications while others might be better for more simplistic applications. Do some research on different languages and find one that best suits your needs. 2. Find resources. Once you've chosen a language, find some resources that can help you learn it. There are plenty of resources available online, such as tutorials, guides, and online courses. Find a few that look helpful and start working through them. 3. Experiment. Don't be afraid to experiment with the code you're learning. Try things out, see what works, and see what doesn't. This is the best way to learn and really understand how the language works. Get help. If you're ever stuck, don't hesitate to reach out for help. There are plenty of people who are willing to help. What are some of the tools you need to start programming? If you want to start programming, there are a few tools you'll need to get started. First, you'll need a code editor. This is a program that will let you write and edit code. There are many different code editors available, so you can choose the one that's right for you. Some popular code editors include Microsoft Visual Studio, Eclipse, and Sublime Text. Next, you'll need a compiler. This is a program that converts your code into a form that can be understood by a computer. Without a compiler, your code would be useless to a machine. Again, there are many different compilers available, so you can choose the one that best fits your needs. Finally, you'll need a way to run your code. This can be done either by running it on your own computer or by using a web-based development environment. If you choose to run your code on your own machine, you'll need to install a programming language interpreter. What are some of the resources you can use to start programming? There are a ton of resources out there for people who want to learn to program. Here are just a few. 1. Code Academy. Code Academy offers free interactive exercises to teach people how to code. They have a handy cheat sheet that covers the basics of many programming languages. 2. Code Academy. Code Academy is another great resource for learning to code. They offer free courses in a variety of programming languages. 3. W3 Schools. W3 Schools offers free tutorials on a variety of web development topics. 4. Free Code Camp. Free Code Camp is a great resource for people who want to learn to code by doing. They have a series of challenges that you can complete to learn different coding concepts. 5. The Coding Train. The Coding Train is a YouTube channel that offers a variety of programming tutorials. They also have a corresponding website with code examples and challenges. How can you overcome the challenges of programming? I think programming is a difficult profession. But should we lose our motivation for writing code? Should we quit just because it's hard? Absolutely not. Every profession has difficulties, upsides, and downsides, and so does programming. There are ways to deal with them. Let's see what these difficulties are and how I have dealt with them so far. Give yourself time. Learning a programming language is similar to learning a new language like German, Spanish, or Chinese. You can't learn Chinese or German in one day, right? The same goes for learning a programming language. It'll take a couple of months to get familiar with the concepts. Give yourself time. Learn the fundamentals first, then you can learn any programming language. Once you learn the fundamentals of programming later you can learn any programming language, any syntax. Sure, there are differences between them, but once you understand the concepts of programming, later learning another programming language will be much easier and faster. Take online courses, watch tutorials, and read e-books. Coding tutorials show step-by-step how to implement/code something with a specific language or how to use a tool. We can read documentation, e-books, or articles and understand way faster than before. Or we can watch videos, online courses, or tutorials, and since we're able to see the instructor's screen, we can exactly see how things are implemented. Practice. Write code. This one is also difficult at the beginning. But it's the strongest way to learn how to program. Learn to read the errors. If you understand what the error message means, you can fix it immediately. Otherwise, you can Google the error message and probably someone else has already asked it, and there you can find out what's wrong. Leave it and come back tomorrow. I don't know how many times this has happened to me, but it's like magic, the day before I got stuck somewhere and can't solve the problem. I turn off the computer and go home, and when I come back the next day, I solve it within 5 minutes. You need to rest, but your brain continues thinking about the problem. You go to sleep, and your brain still thinks about it. Sometimes, it finds where the problem is, and you even don't realize it. And when you go back to work, suddenly you find the solution.